welcome back to another week of Wise Guys Barbecue. Me and my buddy Bob Baumann from Big Bobby's Barbecue. I always want to say Bobby's Backyard Barbecue, and I always screw that up.
Big Bobby's Q.
Big Bobby's Q.
BBQ.
All right, there we go. Thanks for joining us today, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
And my left side, my strong side, I'm strong side, he's left side. He's not here today, Charles Baldwin. A little bit under the weather. He's kicking the snot out of it. Be back real soon.
Yeah, we wish him well.
Yeah, we wish him well, and we miss you, Charlie, and do well. So, this is great. This is exciting. So I love having you on because, like I told our audience before, you are our connective tissue to the competition world. Charlie and I are still new at this whole thing, not being a year old. So we get all our good news and with the community from you. So that's very helpful. I thank you for that. And today you have another treat for our listeners. You got Jeremy Garrett.
Jeremy Garrett of Campground BBQ.
Yes.
He's one of our, in the area, one of our top organizers. I don't know how many. He's probably got about
I think I counted 8. Yeah, eight
events.
this year.
8 events. He's kicking it. He's kicking it off early in the season. It's usually our first one. Kick the dust off and hit the ground running in April, and then he's also got a big event in August that we want to hear about.
Yeah, so we'll no more delay. We're going to get right into that clip. We got a good segment with him. So let's cut into that, and we'll see you folks in a little bit. Jeremy Garrett is here with us today. Thanks, Jeremy, for joining us. Big Bobby's Barbecue, Bob Baumann. Friend of Bob's, and you guys have collaborated before, I guess, on some events, right?
Yeah, so I've attended a lot of his Jeremy's events, Campground BBQ.
Yeah.
Haven't ventured too far away. Haven't been to Vermont and haven't been to New Jersey, but that may change in 2025.
Right.
So we'll
Good to hear.
We'll be seeing a lot of each other in the coming year.
That's great.
You have an extensive list.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, Jeremy, you're up in Vermont, right?
That's right.
Okay. And tell us about your organization. So it's Great Events USA. Is that the umbrella structure that you're under?
Yeah, that's the umbrella, and underneath that we have a lot of different categories of events and things like that.
Gotcha.
So one of the, I guess, facets of that is called Campground BBQ, which we've been doing right at 8 years now.
Okay.
And started, I guess, in 2015.
Okay. And you've ran them all? You promoted them all?
Yeah. Yeah, we
that's
started
great.
in Vermont and then moved to Rhode Island, and then Massachusetts, New Jersey, New Hampshire, New York. We did one in Maryland? No, Delaware.
Great.
And between that, we've done over 100 contests over the past 10 years.
Oh, that's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How many competitors do you get on average at these events?
I would say approximately 30 to 40.
That's a good size.
I mean, we have some that, only get 25, 26, but then we'll get some that get 45 or 50.
Sure. That's awesome. Cool. So, so you get kicked off here in April, right? Huh? In
right.
Southern
Our
New
first
England,
one in Bristol, Connecticut.
Yep. So the first one is the Southern New England Throwdown, Bristol, Connecticut. I remember 2024 was weather of extreme.
Oh boy.
Yep.
And was quite interesting. I do remember that one well.
I like that camp. I like all my campgrounds, but I like that one because it's just everyone just pulls right into a space. It's flat. It's got plenty of space. The cabins are wonderful, and the staff there was incredible.
Nice.
Yep.
That's awesome. And yeah, April could be tough, right? Weather-wise, you never know. It's still a mixed bag by then. March, April
Right.
could be anything in New England. So
One of the things that intrigues me about April's event, which I want to see how you came about that category, is the ancillary.
Oh,
So does that stem from a previous competition of this year and what happened?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Because I usually don't do ancillaries. I really focus on there as, masters competition, and I usually don't do the ancillaries. I
Right.
occasionally do the one meet masters, but this ancillary, Bill Gillespie, if you're listening, Bill, this we could have a real throwdown for the hot dog.
Absolutely. Yeah, hot dog as an ancillary.
Yes. So I've already.
I like to
Go ahead.
play with different concepts, and a lot of times when we're sitting around the campfire at night, people are like, "Oh, I could beat him, or I could do that,"
Yeah.
and so a lot of times I'll put that into the ancillaries.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the good competition. It's the competitive fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one I think I'm going to add that one to my list. What do you think?
Okay.
Ken?
yeah,
Hot dog?
I think you're gonna add with
And I've actually went and I'm doing a little bit of research now. I'm so excited about the category. I've already been doing so he can bring his Oneyville hot wiener, but I'm coming up with something a little bit different.
Oh, you got him this year. You think?
I got something a little bit different.
Good. Yeah, he could use the challenge, I guess.
Yeah.
He kind of walked away with it last time he competed in that ancillary. I think.
Yeah, well,
That's cool.
Yeah, you know what?
That will
Part
be
of
fun.
The competition is having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are we doing out there?
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yep. And so then we go down to New Jersey for the knockout.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've only been around to the ones in Massachusetts and the ones in Connecticut. I haven't been down to New Jersey. What can you tell us about that event? Is there anything particular about that event that you want to talk about?
Yeah. So the New Jersey contests are the first time we started adding backyard contests into the campground series. So we will have 20 to 25 backyard teams, mostly coming from the Mid-Atlantic, Pennsylvania, some New York, some New Jersey. And then we match that with, 30 to 40 masters teams.
Yep.
So it's a big contest.
Wow.
There was one year we had 90 teams between the two.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's going to be a logistical nightmare a little bit, huh? How do you keep that
That's
organized?
why it's great to have a campground owner that works with us.
Yeah, sure.
now this year, all your events are doubles, correct? Masters.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Just
Our rule of thumb is if we don't own an auto, we're going to make it a double.
okay.
Yeah.
Just so our teams have a second chance to try and get the draw to the jack.
Yep. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So the New Jersey knockout, you have a double masters. Is it a double backyard? Or just
Yes.
it's even a double backyard event.
Wow.
Yes.
I want to pitch this idea.
Okay.
How about a pro-am where you take a backyard team, join them with a pro team, and they join effort, a pro-am event.
That might be fun. Not this year.
No,
but it might
I'm
be
not
fun.
saying this year.
So that would that be a whole separate event, or would
a
that
whole
just
separate event,
Wow.
like you could do a pro-am event on Saturday and then a pure masters on Sunday type of thing.
Right.
But the pro-am, so you cook the 4 meats, but the backyard guy will do his chicken and ribs while the master does the, pork and brisket. And you're teaching, the team would be teaching, could instruct the backyard team, and the backyard team could be learning then from, and just kind of like a little like instructional, kind of competition type of event.
I like that. That's cool.
So
Yeah. Is that done anywhere else now?
I don't think so.
No?
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
The brain's on overtime. The holidays are over.
Yeah.
Right. And people getting geared up for season.
It's now kicked in.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Granite State. You're at a new location this year.
Yes and no. So the Granite State contest originally started at it's the exact same campground. There's a different name. They've had a new owner.
Okay.
Renamed it.
Yeah.
And then I actually purchased the contest from the former owner, and then we rolled it into the Bacon and Beer Festival that we were doing.
Okay.
So we did that for a couple of years.
Right.
And this year they decided they wanted to go a different route. So we took the contest and going back to where we started it with.
Oh, okay.
Wow. So does that mean there's no bacon and beer contest this year? Because it kind of developed into this.
It was a festival.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That we added in like pulled pork and some stuff like that.
I understand.
It's a brew festival.
Yep.
With bacon and pork.
Gotcha. Cool.
And I think they are doing it, but I believe they've moved it a week later.
Yep.
But it's a festival now. There's no competition associated with it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Interesting.
And then you have beginning of June, you have the Catskill Barbecue, which is just all out backyard, 2-day a backyard event. Yep.
Yes. So we've been talking with, it's the Sullivan County Visitors Association, and they actually came in 2024 and visited a couple of our contests, and they wanted to hold a Masters contest, but it was the location is too small to put a bunch of teams in there. So I counseled them, let's do a backyard contest instead.
Yep.
So they had, I believe, 9 or 10 teams last year, and we're going to follow that up and just do a double.
Yep.
One day will be for the public. We'll do a wings competition, so like a People's Choice thing.
Right.
And then Sunday will be just the teams.
Yep. Okay.
So the one where you and I were talking about, we want Jeremy to tell us all about is the one in August, right?
Yes, this is the big one. This is the big one.
Yeah.
So
this looks like fun.
Grand-Am BBQ World Championship held on August 1st through the 3rd in New York.
Yep.
And my understanding is day one is invitational only, and you've had to have won, GC'd, or reserve grand championed an event 2023 and 2024, 2 years.
Yes. So we've got a 2-year window.
Yep.
Between April 1st, 2023 and March 31st of this year, 2025.
Okay.
And then we will have a deadline, I think, of, May 31st of this year. So that'll, give teams a chance who won this year to decide whether they want to come in and participate in August.
Right.
And if not, they could come the next year because It's that 2-year window.
Right. Will it always be a two-year window, or is this just to get the ball rolling, and then you might just do like the Jack or the Royal, the 1-year window?
I think it's a wait to see.
Okay.
Right now, KCBS Invitational, they have a 2-year window.
Oh, okay.
And they've been doing theirs for 5 or 6 years.
Yep.
So I think I like the idea. It gives people a chance. They're like, you know what? I'll do it next year. This year I'm doing the Royal or whatever it may be.
Right.
And that way they can kind of pick and choose which one they want to do that year.
Yeah. Because by the time the event comes around, you may say, geez, I'm tapped out of funds. I can't do it this year, but I'll be able to. I know I'm going, so I can start pooling and be able to make it next year. So, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, nice. And then day 2 is a regular open competition.
Yeah, it'll be a New York State Championship.
Okay. Yep.
Right now, there's only the Schenectady event. So there's 2 contests in all of New York, which would make the winner a 50-50 draw.
Wow.
Right.
For the Jack.
Right. Yeah. Which you got my deposit, right?
I did.
Okay. Because I'm looking forward. That one is like highlighted on my schedule in red. Because it's like, we will work around our budget to make it to that one. Yeah. And what
we haven't seen anything like this in the Northeast.
No.
But what we have seen, especially in the last 3-4 years, is the number of Northeast teams that are coming up, that have won the Jack, that have won the Royal, that have been Team of the Year multiple times.
Right.
So we're seeing a lot of talent in this region. And like I said, we've been doing contests through the Campground Series for 10 years, over 100 contests. So we know the teams are around that want to compete and have a big event like this.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
Right.
So Jeremy, how do you promote? And Bob, how did you hear about this? Like how do you?
I just hear it through Jeremy and the website, and then all of a sudden, just scuttlebutt.
Yeah.
Everybody starts talking about it, and the next thing you know, it's like, what's going? And you just learn about these things. I mean,
just a lot of social media.
Gotcha.
There's a couple of Facebook pages.
Yep.
That there's one for the East Coast. There's one for the Mid Atlantic. This year, I actually went out to the American Royal.
Right.
And talked it up and passed out flyers and pamphlets. And it was actually kind of cool. By the end of the event, I would come up with a flyer and they're like, oh, is that championship in the Northeast? It's like,
yeah, that's the one. That's it.
The word preceded the pamphlet.
So we've already got about.
No, I was just telling Bob he should. Bob writes for our parent company, if we have one, right? Barbecue News, and we got a pretty good following with stuff. We should get an article up about this for Jeremy as we get closer to events. So this is all on there for him.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
One of the things that I think you're doing different from the other major competitions is the VIP experience.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, and it's a twofold thing. One is so many people say, man, I would love to meet a championship team, try some of their food, that sort of stuff. So part of the event is a barbecue festival, a rib fest kind of festival. And then the other part is the contest. And there's a line right in the middle because we want the contestants to focus solely on this world championship. But we have a couple of opportunities for for teams to take a discount and show off, basically.
Right.
Yeah, that's a cool
So
part.
we've created two options. On Saturday, we're going to do a pit pass. So teams can host up to 6 people. They can talk about how their cook went. They can answer questions. Hey, what kind of smoker do you use? What kind of wood are you using? What temperature do you cook all that stuff at? And then here, try some of my chicken, some of my ribs, some of my whatever. And so people will pay for that opportunity because it's a VIP experience.
Right.
So that revenue actually helps to offset the prize purse.
Okay. Yep.
That's why we're able to offer such a large prize purse.
Yep.
It's a great idea.
And then on Sunday, we're going to do an honorary judging.
Oh.
So KCBS created something called the X box, not to be confused with the video game system.
Okay.
The X box is an X on the top of your turn-in box. The whole reason they created this is if they had too many judges show up and not enough teams. So they talk to some teams and they say, hey, turn in your regular box, you're number 12, you're just going to get judged like normal. And then would you turn in one more box called the X box? There's an X on the top of it. It will not be judged. It will not go into the process at all. It's completely separate. But our KCBS judges can now use this to, to get more, they can, try the food. They can talk about it.
Yep.
They're not restricted by the same rules as when they're at the judging table.
Wow.
So we're going to take this process and apply it to the public. So teams can turn in their regular box with the number on it. They'll turn in the X box. That's going to go to these honorary judges. And they're going to be in a whole separate building. They will have as their table captain a certified KCBS judge who goes through the whole process, start to finish. All right, folks, here we have brisket. And here's how we look at the brisket. You see how it's, it's got, the coloration and everything. If I were to score this as a judge, I would look at it, I give it a 7 or an 8 or a 9, whatever it is. And then they go to the next step. All right, here we're going to test the tenderness. And next we're going to taste it. And as we taste it, here's what I'm feeling, in the back of my throat. Tell me if this is the same thing that you guys are going.
That's a great idea.
So it's a learning process.
Bit of a socialized process.
Yes.
And which is great because I've taken a couple of judging classes and you learn all the clinical stuff, but you don't learn the things like I don't have the history of tasting a lot of different contests, right? So you kind of need that palate, if you will, to kind of judge things over time. So if you have somebody there kind of, coaching you through the steps for your first time, that's great.
Well,
that's a great idea.
The opportunity to show, Joe Q public, this is what they're doing. This is what so you see the cook side. Now this is this is the judge's side.
Yep.
Yes.
It's just as difficult to judge the food as it is to cook the food because it's so close. It's so close that it's like you open a box and and like, okay, but that one had a slightly bigger, more of a tug than this brisket over here. Yep. This one had more of a mouthfeel. This one was lacking in flavor, and so the opportunity for a public to experience that, That'd be that's interesting. So the Xbox, will that be passed? Is that an opportunity for all the the VIP teams or all teams? Just the VIP.
Yes. So if you are competing on Saturday, you also have to compete on Sunday.
Correct.
And that's the same thing that the American Royal does.
Correct.
If you do one, you have to do both.
Correct.
Now, if you just compete...
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
No, I was going to say, is this the first time with the VIP experience? Have you ever did this before?
I haven't, but I've talked to a couple of other organizers who have, and they said they've done both types of things, and they've gone very, very well.
That's so cool.
People love the pit crew.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my only experience with that would be Corkiers, right? Because they have Saturday, they have the rib auction. So a lot of people are up around Saturday. So I walk through the teams and meet a lot of people.
Teams, right.
Everybody's so casual that day, right? Because they're not on the clock. They're just doing the ribs for the auction. They're not doing 4 turn-ins, and they're not all stressed out.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's optional.
Right.
Teams do not have to do this.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
If they do, they get a discount.
Right.
Yep.
They get to kind of release some of that energy, right?
Sure.
That they've been cooking, and now they're, like you said, they're kind of cooling down, and they're coming off that high, and they get to talk about their product,
right. Like you said, they like to show off, right? I mean, that's these guys don't do it for the money all the time, right? There's only 2 guys making some money. Everybody else is investing. So the fact that they get to show off a little bit, enjoy what they're bringing to the party, if you will, that's awesome. Yeah,
what I'm hoping comes out of that is more people want to learn how to judge, and more people want to learn how to compete.
Right.
Yeah,
yep.
Sure.
And that's how you build this.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yep.
Absolutely. There was. Now I lost my train of thought. Hold on. There was. Oh, you're doing a lottery as well.
Yeah.
So. Teams can give a fee for an extra, just basically a lottery ticket for the invitation.
Wild card.
The wild card is not the wild child, the wild card.
Although we are doing the wild child too.
That we can't talk about. No, but the wild card is for the invitational.
Yes.
Okay.
So the whole our thinking was there are a lot of teams who are really, really good. There's some teams I know that they get 3rd or 4th every single time.
Right.
And they're just like within striking distance. And, maybe this year they just got reserve or grand or whatever. They finally got that after going. So the wild card basically is for someone who wants to just throw it down and say, let's go. I think I'm as good as you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna come for it.
All right. Because I think I got a ticket in that.
Oh, did you? You got a lottery ticket in that?
I figured I'm going Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, I might as well go for both days. So
Yeah.
So
cool.
All right. Well, I like I said, that one is highlighted on my list. So, and you were the first one that I've signed up for. So
awesome.
So that's how we're excited about that one. And then we go through. We got the Nor'easter again, and in Southwick. That one you've been doing for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And same with Green Mountain.
Green Mountain is
that was the original.
Green Mountain's very popular. Yeah, that's it seemed like a lot of teams that I knew of went to that last year.
Yeah, we certainly had some challenges in 2024 with team numbers.
Yep.
We did meet them, but we certainly had to ask teams to help.
Right.
So we could meet,
right,
25, 26 teams.
Right. So
seems like September's a real tough month, right? There's a lot of barbecue packed into September, so people are getting across
Yeah.
competition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that seemed to be the
And so then, to be a qualifier event, the limit is 25, minimum of 25. Is that
So the Jack and the American Royal, if it's a first year event, you have to have 15
right?
teams.
Yep.
Second year and beyond, you have to have 25.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
okay.
So that's where
That's where the
numbers.
That's where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah,
you got to really squeak them out.
Yeah, you really have. If this wants to be a qualifier event, then you're really, like you said, the first year event. They give you a little slack because it's new. People haven't heard the word, but then returning events, you need to have 25 entries.
Jeremy, do you get a lot of fallouts in teams? Do you get 30 sign up but 25 show up, kind of a thing, or do you think they all kind of push through?
Most people, they spend so much money and time preparing for all this.
Yeah,
the only people that never show up are the people who've had an accident or family stuff, and no, we haven't really seen that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
If you've paid, you put a deposit down,
and
you've been communicating, you're not going to not show up.
Right. Gotcha.
Right. Yeah, you have a lot of investment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of investment that goes into this sport.
I get it. Thank you for clearing that up for me.
One that I'd like to try. It's near the end of it's the last one you do is the Red, White, and Q down in New Jersey.
Yeah.
That one convinced me to go this year.
Okay. The weather's always great. Let's see. I'm trying to think. So it's normally our largest contest of the year because people who are chasing points are coming to that. So the past couple of years, we've seen folks from Kansas, from Missouri, Illinois, Pennsylvania, and then everyone from the East who's trying to compete.
Right.
So it's going to be the top of the top at the end of the year.
Yep.
Right before the big contest.
All right. And
did that convince you?
And we're doing a fried chicken ancillary.
Smoked turkey. You want to put hot dog back in as an ancillary?
Maybe if he changes that to hot dog.
Turkey hot dog. Can you do that, Jeremy? Can you get him a turkey hot dog in
turkey
there?
Dog.
Yeah.
And
one of the the ancillary for this one is going to be fried chicken.
Right.
Yeah.
There are 4 different teams who've said, you know what, I make the meanest fried chicken there is. I said, all right, let's prove it.
Okay.
Let's see who's the boss.
Bring it on. Yeah, sure.
All right.
But you still have to cook it under KCBS rules. So that's going to be a challenge.
Okay.
All right. I don't know. I really don't know what that means. I'm not a competitor. But...
Well, it's basically
you have to use fire.
Live fire.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So probably they'll have to have like a black skillet, put some oil in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it on a campfire even.
Right.
Or on their smoker, Weber, whatever. And, flip it and kind of baby it.
Yeah,
right.
sure.
And then we'll see how it.
Yeah.
So it's not putting it into a deep, a deep fryer.
Be a deep fryer over a propane burner. It's not going to be your turkey, your fried.
Yeah.
You can't
turkey.
Put your propane torch under a kettle, kind of.
Right.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
But my grandma, she always made fried chicken, the best fried chicken, in just a little square, pan.
Yep.
With a little oil in it.
Yep.
Yeah. If she can do it,
I
think these guys can do it.
I'm sure they can do it.
They can figure it out.
They can figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the thing about barbecue competition is it's that cross between high end like culinary and camping.
Yeah.
It's like if you brought like it is. It's like when I went,
it's a good
boy,
point.
this is bringing back, I used to do a lot of camping. The wife and I, we did a lot of camping.
Yep.
And it's like, basically this is it. You're bringing your top-notch cookers and everything
Yep.
out with you camping, and this is it. You know, you got to deal with the elements, you got to deal with the cold, you got to deal with all this stuff and cook good food, but yet you're still camping.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good way to look at it.
And that's why it made sense to hold it at a campground.
Yeah, sure does.
So,
Sure does.
and I always like Jeremy's events because they are at campgrounds. I think you're one of the only organizers around here that do it at campgrounds, and the amenities that are associated with the campgrounds.
Right.
I mean, hot showers,
Yeah.
flushing toilets.
Yes.
Make a big difference, right?
Optional cabin rentals.
Oh, wow.
I mean, if you have that significant other that's like, I don't like camping, I'm not
Right.
going with you, and you go, but I got us a cabin.
I don't want to sleep by the swing.
Yeah, I'll go. You know,
Yeah.
I hope my wife doesn't see this podcast because she goes, "Did we have cabins? I'm sleeping in the trailer."
That's funny. All right, great. Well, Jeremy, anything else for our listeners to know on your end? Because this has been great. I got to thank you very much again. And Bob
absolutely.
For setting
Thank you
this up.
guys.
This is awesome.
Yeah, so the websites,
Yep.
it's Grand-Am BBQ.com.
Okay.
That's the Grand American Barbecue World Championship. And then it's Campground BBQ.com for the Campground Barbecue Series.
All right, good. I'll make sure I get that up on screen too for our listeners so they can see it, and put in the description below the podcast as well, so they can link to it.
Awesome.
Sure thing. Anything Facebook? Are you guys on Facebook at all?
Yeah, I think it's Campground BBQ
All right, I'll find it.
on Facebook.
I'll find it. I'll get it up there. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and
Thank
sorry
you.
for a little bit of technical difficulty here. I'm not as good as I think I am still yet, but I think we got a good recording on both sides, so we'll get it together.
No, I appreciate both of you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Take
Thank
care,
you,
my
guys.
friend. Nice to
Happy
meet
New
you.
Year. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Happy New Year.
All right, that was awesome. Thank you again, Jeremy, for doing that, taking the time. We will definitely get the word out for you amongst our wise guy listeners. Bob, again, thank you for setting that up. And, it's amazing the amount of work that goes into, what a promoter has to do and the logistics and pulling this off. And like Jeremy was saying that, having them at these campgrounds really makes the logistics easy and, gives you some kind of creature comforts at these events.
Yeah.
And,
So the campground events are, they're held at campgrounds.
Yep.
So you have all the amenities of the campground. Makes it a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
Family.
Yep.
More of a family event. You can have the kids come, and most of these campgrounds have swimming pools. If you hit the weather just right, as we know. However, with barbecue competitions, that's usually a 50-50 shot.
Well, like you said in the interview with Jeremy, it is just like that, right? You have these competitors, and let's face it, they're first class cooks, right? They're culinary geniuses in what they do over and over again throughout a season, and they bring that on the road, right? Like you said, with their family and pets. Sometimes I've seen dogs running around the yard.
Pets, and you can't leave the pets out.
So it's like camping too. It's that perfect crossover, like, family camping, but meanwhile, killer culinary turnouts.
Right.
Yeah. That and that's amazing. And, I know some of those guys are doing 20, 30 of these competitions a year. So they got it locked in, right? How many do you do a year? I
believe 2024 we did 11.
Okay. All right. That's
And I'm thinking we want to try to go a little bit more. We don't want to just bust out and do 20 or 40.
Because you're still new at this, right? This is like your
this is our, actually it would be our second full year as a master's.
Yeah, that's amazing.
As a master's. So this would be our 2025 will be our second year
That's
in
great.
the master's events. And So we have a list of events.
That's
And
what I wanted to ask you.
so
Like, what goes
basically,
into
yeah.
making that list? Because
So-
I know you guys start now figuring it out, and there's a lot that goes into it, right? Because there are weekends where there are 2 events might be happening, right?
Right,
And I
right.
know there's certain promoters that you would rather be at one over the other, just because of their loyalty to the local areas and so on.
Well, for us for Big Bobby's Q,
Yep.
we look at one distance of travel.
Sure.
And now with Jeremy's got, what did we say, 7 events?
Eight events,
Eight
yep.
events. And there was like 2 in New Jersey, 1 up in Vermont, but most of them are fairly local to Rhode Island.
Sure.
I would
You
say.
got Connecticut, you got New Hampshire, Massachusetts.
Right. Then
Right,
we have, and then inclusive barbecue. The farthest that we go for them is up to Maine.
Yep.
That usually is about our farthest that we travel.
Right.
Or we've traveled in the past.
Right.
And then talking to Jeremy, we considered some of these that are in New Jersey.
Yeah. That's cool. Now you got, and Matt's adding a bunch this year. I think he's up to six competitions
So
and a lot
Matt
of
Pereira is promoting
Championship Barbecue Alliance.
Yep.
Yep.
And he's got events coming up in the area as well.
Do you have any? I know you have Rhode Island slated with that, right?
Definitely, Rhode Island will definitely be in there. He's got some. He's got some in Connecticut. I believe he's in Massachusetts and things like that. But when I first started looking into competitions, it was like, boy,
Get close to that mic.
we're gonna have to really travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
We're gonna have to really travel.
Yeah.
And but I like the I don't want to sit behind a wheel for 12 hours to get to a competition, set up and pack up and come back.
Right.
And, hit the road.
Because you
show
got
up.
a small team, right? It's you and your wife, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, because if you have another person on the team, right, you can split up the driving and
You
split
can
up the prep.
split up the driving, and then But I'm the one that drives. I'm the one that cooks. I'm the one that preps. I'm the one that So so time is important to us.
Yeah, sure.
But also too, it's where's the event.
Right.
Where's the event? And like I said, Jeremy's at campgrounds, which are very comfortable.
Yep.
The wife appreciates going to those events.
Sure. Sure.
It's, what are everybody's looking for amenities.
Right.
What's the amenity? I mean, most of the competitions, they're in the 300 to 375 entry fee range.
Yeah, that gets to be a very expensive
if
hobby.
I'm going to pay, if I'm going to pay, say $350 for an event, do I really want to sit there and listen to generators hum, for 2 days straight and put gas in the generator? I mean, it's not a big expense on gas, but it's just a factor of the noise and the hassle.
Sure.
And trust me, I've seen a lot. It happened to us, all of a sudden your generator knocks out. You're like, what the heck's going on with my generator? Now you're out. I've seen guys, they couldn't get their generator running. They just went out to Harbor Freight and bought a brand new generator.
Man,
it's just one of those things. You need it now, and you can't afford to have it fail. So
exactly.
It's nice to know, okay, this competition has power.
Yep.
And I don't have to worry about the generator. That's one less thing I have to worry about.
Sure. So and there's a lot of tactics to it too. I mean, like you were explaining in the piece with Jeremy that after the first year of a promoter's competition, the sanctioning bodies really make them go back to a set number of teams. So, for example, Matt was able to have, I think, 15 teams, and I know he had 20, and I think a couple missed, but he had 18 to 20 teams his first year. But now, will he have to have 25 now?
I don't know how that works with
CBA.
CBA.
Yep.
So with KCBS, as Jeremy mentioned, is if it's a first year contest,
Yep.
they allow 15 teams,
Yes.
15 entries.
Yes.
After that, you're required to be a qualifier. You need to be 25 teams.
Right. So obviously that's the target, right? To find a first year low participating
Right.
team, because now you have better chances of winning, and then hopefully if it's only in that state, there you go.
Right.
They
So
punch a ticket that way.
Right.
Cool. That's cool. So you sit down, you figure out your logistics, how far you want to travel, what weekends you have free, what weekends you have obligations elsewhere, right? Because everybody's got a job and kids, so it's not like you get.
But then you always get blindsided by the wild card event, and you're like, oh my gosh, really? Yeah. I heard of this event.
Explain the wild card event. What's that mean?
It's just that. Well, when I call a wild card event, is you hear of an event,
right,
and you're like, oh my gosh, their trophies. There's one event. And let me see if I get it. It's called Praise the Lard, I believe.
Oh, wow.
I believe that's the event.
Yeah.
And I think it's Southern Illinois.
Okay.
But you get these apples.
Oh, yeah?
They're glass apples.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like
everybody wants those glass apples.
There's events out there where the trophy is the coveted award.
Sure,
you're going for the trophy, not just for the competition, but you really want one of these trophies.
Yep.
There's ones that give away. I've seen some give away guitars.
Yeah.
I've seen the
belt buckles are pretty hot.
Yeah, and belt buckles are pretty hot because everybody wants, the collection of belt buckles. I won this year, and I got the pork and I got the brisket. Now I got to go for the ribs and the chicken.
Sure.
So yeah, so I mean, it becomes kind of like that. The golden egg.
Yeah.
You're always like, hey, let's go out there and try to get this and get that. And so there's a few that I have under discussion.
Yeah.
With the team manager.
Okay.
Maybe going out to Wisconsin for an event.
Wow.
Going out to Illinois for an event.
Yeah. There's some driving, right? You're going to have to haul butt there.
Right.
Yeah. We're like 16, 18 hours in on those drives.
Yeah,
maybe.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I mean, it works out. I'm a Chicago native, so I still have
that's
family. I still have family and friends out there, and I'm coming to your town. Make room.
Mark your calendars, everybody. There you go.
So
that's great. Yeah. That's my wife's the same way. She has relatives in every state, so whenever we go somewhere, I look at, we're going on a vacation. We get a hotel, we'll stay in a hotel. Oh no, we're staying at my aunt's, my brother-in-law's, my nephews, my nieces. I'm like, and usually, we're sleeping in a guest room or on the floor somewhere. I'm like, this is not vacation.
Well, we do have, my wife's sister, she lives in Ohio.
Okay. So you have
right in between here and Chicago.
Oh,
so it's like a no-brainer that we always stop
in, visit.
If it's lunch or whatever, and then we sometimes stay or we hit the road.
Sure.
But that's a good layover for us.
Cool.
But so 2025 for Big Bobby's Q, still in the works.
Okay.
We're like I know we're going to be doing the first. Jeremy's first one in April.
Yeah.
And then
will that be your first too for the year?
That's usually the first one for most of us around here in New England.
Yeah, and that's kind of it's nice to do those, because I learned this last year, right? I went out and I was at the state cook-off judging class.
Yep.
And I did that just so I can meet some folks and start this journey on whatever this thing turns out to be. And I went out and I was like, Bill Calepsy was there taking a class with me, right? So I had some real fabulous people who I didn't even know who the heck they were in the room, right? So Fatted was there. Christian, what's the husband's name? I forget his name all the time. Mark, thank you. Christian Mark was there. So I met some great people at that judging class early in the year. But I said, so when is the season? Like, right? Because my son started playing football last year. So I'm trying to get the scope in my head of what my year was going to be like. And he goes, oh, it's real simple. It starts in January and ends in December. So now that was the manager from State Cook-Off. So they have a lot more events throughout the year than I think barbecue does. But it is more like April through November, seasonal for barbecue.
For us here in New England, it's seasonal. It's basically April through October.
Yeah, yeah, and I know a lot of like, depending on how the year goes, like some national competitions are held like in January, February of the following year. So those are in the year, but outside the scope of the season.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. So yeah, and Matt mentioned it, and I felt it when I was in Mass in May with Kathy in Rentham, and it is those first couple are like reunion week, like old folks week. Everybody's happy to see everything.
Yes.
The holidays are finally open.
Yeah.
I mean, over
Right.
and you're getting your equipment out and you're back on the road and everybody's talking the chit chat. So that's kind of cool that reunion starts in April.
Yeah. So everybody, And then one of the other big ones that we're really looking forward to is the Grand-Am event.
Yeah. That's in August, right?
That's going to be a big event.
Yeah.
Big event. We entered in the open competition because we haven't won and we haven't GC'd or reserve grand championed any events in their window yet.
Right.
But we wanted to play with the big boys.
Yeah.
So
sure.
And then we put in our little raffle ticket for the wild card opportunity to do the invitational.
Oh, that's cool.
If that happens to pan out, well then,
there you
all
go.
right.
Well, no, that's really cool, and so that's still thick in my season, so that's cool. And I know Jeremy was telling us about that VIP experience where you, somebody like myself, could pay a little bit of money and get involved and meet competitors one day or the other, depending on what I want to do on a VIP experience.
Right.
So I might do that. I might go out there as a wise guy and say, hey, VIP something, and go around and meet some people. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah.
So, and for 2025, we're really stoked about the new season and kicking it off right.
Right.
And we're sticking with it. We're honored to continue our relationship with Bosque's Charcoal.
Oh yeah.
So Bosque's Charcoal, we hooked up with them as ambassadors last year, and
nice.
Telling you what. Best lump charcoal,
great
sugar maple, and we've been one of our key ingredients. I mean, if you could think about charcoal as an ingredient, this is it.
Oh wow!
For us, it really blends well with our flavors.
Cool.
And when we're really honored to be hooking up with a new pellet sponsor this year,
really?
Smoke Ring.
Oh, wow.
Holland, Michigan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we are very intrigued that their process of manufacturing their pellets is all natural. They use no additive binders or fillers. And I got a few sample bags, and I've been cooking at home on the Green Mountain Grill with those, and we've had some good results. Really clean smoke from them.
Yep.
The flavor is there. And so we're really stoked.
That's great
to be moving forward in that direction.
Yeah, I think I didn't realize there could be a binder in pellets like that. I'm sure that must throw. I mean, having no binder must make a big difference because besides having true smoke, you also probably have less flare-ups and less irregular burns.
Yeah, irregular burns. They gum up the augers.
Yeah, sure.
And then just what is their binder?
Yeah,
is it horse glue? I don't know.
Yeah. What is it?
Right.
Yeah.
What is it? So is that something that you're burning and having the knowledge and just the ease of mind that you're using an all natural pellet is good.
Yeah. Have you cooked on them yet?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So so you're going to be well experienced because I know that's a big part of your competitional
Well, yeah,
edges
I mean,
to stay
you
consistent.
change something like that, and
Could mean a lot, right?
It could mean a lot.
Sure.
They could burn a little different.
Yep.
They could have a slightly different flavor.
Yep.
But through our experiment so far, everything's been really good.
Awesome. That's great. I wish you and them the best. And they're out of Wisconsin, you said, huh?
Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Good. Well, good luck with that. Well, thank you very much for sitting in second seat today
Oh, thank you.
and having our listeners get a listen to Jeremy. I think that was really cool. So we'll mosey on down the road, and we'll wish everybody a great weekend and a great week. And till next time.
Yep. Everybody, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Peace.